Good morning, fourth grader. Today's packet will be for Tuesday, April 28th. Reading notes. I can determine the theme of a story from details in the text. The theme. What did the author want you to take away? Consider the actions, feelings, thoughts, and words of the character. Theme is the message lesson learned. The theme is often inferred. Ask yourself, what did the characters learn? And ask yourself, what lesson should I learn? Mythology, universal themes and subjects. I learned the hard way that pride is an enemy that destroys. I learned money can't buy happiness. Courage. You must face your fears to overcome them. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the mastery of fear. Courage comes from within. The greatest test of courage is to experience defeat and not give up. We never know for certain how much courage we have until we face it, and courage is going from failure to failure and not giving up. Freedom. The cost of freedom is always high. Freedom is the last best hope of earth. So far as a person thinks they are free, a slave is one who waits for someone to come free him. No man is free who is not master of himself, and men will risk their own lives for freedom. Friendship. To have a friend, you must be a friend. True friendship knows no boundaries. Faithful friends are hard to find. Be careful who your friends are. A friend sticks beside you when no one else does, and there are plenty of acquaintances in the world, but very few real friends. Jealousy. Love does not display itself in jealousy. Jealousy is a harmful thing and will consume one's life. Jealousy has the power to kill and destroy. Jealousy is blind to the truth. Jealousy is never satisfied because it comes from a place of emptiness. And jealousy comes from insecurity and doubts in oneself. Gratefulness. Be thankful for what you have. Money can't buy happiness. Be careful what you wish for, you just might get it. The grass is not always greener on the other side of the fence. You don't appreciate the things you didn't work for. Greed never leads to happiness. The greatest things in life you already have. They can't be bought. Consequences. Think through your choices before you act. It pays to think ahead. It is wise to always be prepared. What goes around comes around. You reap what you sow. Learn from your mistakes so you don't have to repeat them. And take responsibility for the choices you make. Pride. Pride is an enemy that destroys. A proud man is never a grateful person. He thinks he is responsible for all the good in his life. When life is lived from pride, shame always follows. Love is not present when pride is, and pride will cost you everything but leave you with nothing. Perseverance. Things are accomplished one step at a time. Change is hard, but usually worth it. Persistence pays off in the end. Patience is rewarded. We are made strong through our struggles. If you are not successful at first, keep trying. Working hard up front allows for play later. Perception. Beauty is only skin deep. Appearances can be deceiving. Do not judge by appearances. Things are not always what they seem. Not everyone is who they seem. Be cautious around strangers. Compassion. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Consider the needs of others as well as your own. Be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting some type of battle, and no one has ever become poor by giving. Living in the present. Live life to the fullest. Make the best of the hand you've been dealt. Yesterday is gone, tomorrow has not come, we only have today. The future depends on what you do today. Family. Blood is thicker than water. Family comes first. Family is sacred. Families can come in different forms, and families stick together. Cooperation. There is strength in groups. More is accomplished in groups than individually. Know when to accept help. Understand your limitations and when you need to ask for help. Sense of self. Be who you really are and not who others want you to be. Believe in yourself or no one else will. Strength comes from within you. You can't please everyone, so just be true to yourself, and it is important to stand up for what you believe. Love. Love conquers all obstacles. Love can hurt, but it is worth the risk. It is better to have loved and lost than to not have loved at all. Love is the worthiest of all pursuits. Love is blind to others' faults, and love is putting another before oneself. Honesty. Be true to your word. Honesty is the best choice. Crime does not pay. It's better to be honest than to be rich. If someone is not trustworthy with the little things, then they cannot be trusted with the big things. Reading practice. I can determine the theme of a story from details in the text. Psyche and Eros. A long time ago, a king and queen lived in a castle with 3 lovely daughters. The youngest, named Psyche, was the most beautiful. Her beauty was so stunning that people often thought she was the goddess Aphrodite. Aphrodite, the real goddess, became jealous and wanted to destroy poor innocent Psyche. Aphrodite called upon her son Eros to help her destroy Psyche. Although the Greeks called him Eros, he is better known today as Cupid. Eros had the ability to make people fall in love by shooting them with his arrow. Anyone struck by one of his arrows would immediately fall in love with the first person they saw. Aphrodite wanted Eros' arrow to hit Psyche and make her fall in love with a poor beggar. Then Psyche's life would be miserable. Eros obeyed his mother and flew down to earth. As soon as Eros saw Psyche, he was so overtaken by her beauty that he tripped and wounded himself with his own arrow. Instead of making Psyche fall in love with some poor beggar, he fell madly in love with her himself. Aphrodite did not want her son to be with Psyche because he was immortal and Psyche was only mortal. However, Eros didn't care and sprinkled Psyche with a potion that would keep any man from being attracted to her. Then he flew back to Aphrodite, keeping the event a secret. Psyche remained without a husband because of the potion. Earlier, Psyche had been given a prophecy. She was told that she wouldn't marry a human, but she would marry a winged monster at the top of the mountain. So one day, sadly, the king and queen took their daughter, Psyche, to the mountain, leaving her to find her husband. In the evening, Psyche began to weep. Just then, a gentle wind came and carried her off to a beautiful palace. Because it was dark, she was unable to see that it was the god Eros. She could hear the sound of his wings and footsteps, but she couldn't see his face. She then heard his voice say, "Beautiful Psyche, this palace is all yours. If you will agree to be my wife, every night I will spend time with you, but I will leave before the sun rises. You must never see my face or know who I am." Psyche agreed, and every evening the visitor came. She became very happy in her new life. One day, Psyche's sisters came to visit, and when they saw her palace, they were filled with jealousy. They convinced Psyche that the visitor must be a monster. Psyche then began to have doubts, so she decided to look at the visitor while he was sleeping. Imagine her shock. She didn't see a monster, but the most handsome man with wings. In that instant, Eros awoke. He saw Psyche gazing upon him. He became so hurt by her lack of trust that he spread his wings and flew away. Saddened by what she had done, Psyche went to Eros' mother, Aphrodite, and begged her for help. Aphrodite, still full of jealousy for Psyche, challenged her with impossible tasks to complete before offering her any help. The first task was sorting a huge pile of mixed grains into separate piles. This had to be finished by the morning. Devastated, Psyche knew this was impossible. As she sat in despair, a tiny ant ran out and called a whole army of ants to help. They worked all through the night and separated the grains for Psyche. By morning, they finished the task. The second task involved gathering golden wool from a flock of very violent sheep. A tree by the river whispered to Psyche to wait until the sheep fell asleep by the bushes. When the sheep were asleep, Psyche was able to go and pick all the wool she wanted that was left clinging to the bushes. She took an armload of golden wool back to Aphrodite. The third task Aphrodite set before Psyche was to obtain a cup of water from the mouth of a river that was high up on a mountain. Defeated, Psyche thought all was doomed until an eagle helped her. It carried an empty cup up to the mouth of the river. The eagle dipped the cup into the water and returned it to Psyche. Psyche's final task was to go to the underworld. She must seek and ask Persephone, wife of Hades, for some of her beauty. Psyche knew that she would have to be dead to go to the underworld. She decided to finally give up when out of nowhere a voice spoke to her. The voice told Psyche how to enter the underworld and get a portion of Persephone's beauty that was kept in a box. The voice warned Psyche, do not look inside the box under any circumstance. After Psyche received the box from Persephone, she forgot what she was told and opened the box. A strange, invisible mist arose from the box and put her into a deep sleep. Eros could not live without Psyche, so he woke her up. He told Psyche to bring the box to Aphrodite and therefore end all of the tasks asked of her. Then Eros went to Mount Olympus. He asked Zeus for permission to marry Psyche even though she was mortal. Moved by the love Eros had for Psyche, Zeus decided to help. He gave Psyche a cup of nectar that would make her live forever, and they were married. Surprisingly, Aphrodite overcame her jealousy and even danced at their wedding. So you have a sample. It has traits. Beginning trait was greedy. What are the character's traits of the main character? Beginning trait was greedy, middle trait was sad, and the end trait was relieved. The events. What is the conflict? What was the solution to the conflict? The conflict was King Midas turned daughter into gold. The resolution was Midas' touch was removed and he got his daughter back. Circle the main one. Greed, family, and pride. Tone. What was the tone of the theme subject? Was it positive or negative? Negative. Test out the theme. Checklist. Any age, any time, any place. The universal theme, money does not buy happiness. So in this one, you are to take the story of Psyche and Eros and fill out the traits, the beginning, middle, and end trait, the conflict, the resolution, circle the main subject, theme, what was the tone, and what was the universal theme. Reading exit slip. I can determine the theme of a story from details in the text. Read the passage and answer the questions. Better than gold. King Midas saw a wounded spirit lying in the garden. He told his servants to take care of the spirit. The spirit turned out to be a friend of a god. The god thanked Midas by offering him a special power. Midas blurted out, I want everything I touch to turn to gold. The next morning, Midas went for a walk. He touched the flowers in his garden. They turned to gold. Midas was very amused and excited. He spent hours turning flowers into gold until he took a break for lunch. But he was unable to eat any food since it all turned to gold as soon as he touched it. I'll figure out this problem later, he thought. I have to show my little Lydia. Midas showed his daughter Lydia his new talent. She was amazed. She was so excited that Midas reached to hug her. As soon as he touched her, she turned to gold. Midas was in a panic. He ran off and found the god who had given him the golden touch. Please take this power away. Turn my daughter back. Help me, Midas shouted to him. Gold is nothing compared to my family. The god told Midas to bathe in the river. Midas dove in, causing the riverbanks to turn gold. But the water of the river removed his strange power. He ran home, thrilled to see that his precious Lydia was alive and well. I don't care if I ever see gold again, Midas exclaimed. Then he sat down with his daughter and ate a big meal. Question 1. How does the title relate to the story's theme? A. Wounded spirits are better than gold. B. Not many things are better than gold. C. A loving family is better than gold. Or D. Supernatural help is better than gold. Number 2. What does Midas say that helps us see the theme? A. Turn my daughter back, help me. B. I want everything I touch to turn to gold. C. I have to show my little Lydia. Or D. Gold is nothing compared to my family. Number 3. What is the most likely reason Midas says he never wants to see gold again? A. He likes being able to turn things into gold. B. Gold reminds him of what happened to Lydia. C. He never really liked the color yellow anyway. D. Gold attracts thieves who would steal it from him. Question 4. What lesson does Midas learn as a result of Lydia turning gold? I can write an opinion piece on a topic supporting my point of view with reasons and evidence. This week we'll focus on opinion writing. This is your opportunity to practice the power of using your thoughts to effectively communicate your opinion. In order to allow you to work on the different elements of a complete writing piece, each day has its own focus. By Thursday, you will have a completed opinion piece. Tuesday, write the introduction. Be sure to grab your reader's attention with a great hook and state the purpose of your writing piece. Writing situation. Learning important life lessons helps us grow and become mature young persons and adults. Sometimes we learn those lessons from reading a book or watching a movie or television show. At other times, we learn valuable practical wisdom from events which take place in our lives of persons who are close to us. Writing directions. Which lesson has the most lasting impact? One which you read about or seen on the screen, or one which actually happens to you? Write an article for your school newsletter in which share your opinion regarding the source of the most valuable lesson. Back up your beliefs with strong reasons. Question 1. Below, write your introductory paragraph. Grab the reader's attention and state the purpose. Math. Target. I can apply the formula for the perimeter of a rectangle to solve real-world and mathematical problems. Lesson. In 4th grade, we will use what we've learned in 3rd grade about calculating the perimeter of rectangles and squares to real-life situations. Here is the formula for perimeter. Length plus width equals perimeter. Or 2 times the length plus 2 times the width equals perimeter. For a square, you can find its perimeter by multiplying one side length times 4. If you have the following rectangle, 4 feet, 10 feet, 4 feet, and 10 feet, then you would calculate the perimeter either by 10 foot by 10 foot, 4 foot by 4 foot equals 28, or 2 times 10 foot plus 2 times 4 foot equals 20 foot plus 8 foot equals 28 feet. The rectangle of the perimeter is 28 feet. Here is an example of a real-world problem that would match the perimeter equation above. Question. Mrs. Deem is planning to build a fence around her new vegetable garden to protect it from small animals. The length of one side of the garden is 10 feet, and the width of one side is 4 feet. She needs to know the measurement of the perimeter in order to buy enough fencing to go around the garden. How much fencing does Mrs. Deem need to go around her rectangle vegetable garden? The answer? The perimeter of Mrs. Deem's vegetable garden is 28 feet. Lesson. But what if we are given the perimeter and the value of one side? How can we calculate what the other side lengths are for the shape? Think of the relationship between addition and subtraction, or multiplication and division, as well as the attributes or features of a rectangle or square. The perimeter is 28 feet, and I have 10 feet here. For rectangles, we know that the opposite side of the rectangle are equal to each other. So we know 2 10 feet plus 2 feet equals 28 feet. So 20 feet plus 2 of an unknown feet equals 28 feet. Then we subtract 20 feet, the sides we know, from 28, the perimeter, and we get 8 feet. 8 feet cannot be the measurement of each of the unknown sides, but if we divide 8 by 2, each side is equal to 4 foot. Let's check. 2 times 10 feet plus 2 times 4 feet equals 28 feet. 20 feet plus 8 feet equals 28 feet. For squares, we know that all 4 sides of a square have equal length, so we know that 4 times whatever the side is equals the perimeter. So 4 times what equals 16 feet? You can think of this in one of two ways. What can I multiply 4 to get 16? What is 16 divided by 4? The answer to either question is 4. Let's check. 4 times 4 foot equals 16 feet. Here is an example of a real-world problem that asks you to find the side length or width given the perimeter and one side measurement. Question. Mrs. Deem is planning to build a fence around her new rectangular vegetable garden to protect it from small animals. The length of one side of the garden is 10 feet and the perimeter of the garden is 28 feet. What is the measurement of the missing side length? Answer. The measurement of the missing side length is 4 feet. Target. I can apply the formula for the perimeter of a rectangle to solve real-world mathematical problems. Practice. Number 1. What is the perimeter of a rectangular yard with a length of 6 centimeters and a width of 7 centimeters? A. 13, B. 42 centimeters, C. 26 centimeters, or D. 17 centimeters. Draw and solve. Number 2. What is the perimeter of a square with a side length of 12 inches? A. 48 inches, B. 24 inches, C. 144 inches, or D. 12 inches. Draw and solve. Practice. Number 3. Emery was measuring her backyard to build a fence for her new puppy. The length of one side of the yard was 50 feet. The width of the yard on one side was 157 feet. What is the perimeter of her backyard? A. 207 square inches, B. 414 inches, C. 207 inches, or D. 414 square inches. Draw and solve. At an exercise gym, there is a fenced-in play area for small children. The play area measures 20 feet by 25 feet. What is the perimeter of the play area? Draw and solve. A. 45 feet, B. 500 feet, C. 250 feet, or D. 90 feet. Exit slip. Number 1. Mia wants to decorate her square table with ribbon around the edge. If the length of one side of the table is 2 meters, how much ribbon does she need? A. 2 meters, B. 4 meters, C. 8 meters, or D. Not enough information given. Draw and solve. Number 2. Katia and Elise are sewing a border with yarn on a rectangular blanket. The length of the long side is 6 feet and the short side is 4 feet. How many feet of yarn will they need? A. 20 feet, B. 10 feet, C. 24 feet, or D. 52 feet. Number 3. Young is roping off an area to play soccer in her backyard. The field needs to be 30 feet by 15 feet. How much rope will she need? A. 45 feet, B. 90 feet, C. 60 feet, or D. 30 feet. Number 4. Ray found the perimeter of the window in his bedroom to be 12 feet. If the length of the window is 4 feet long, what is the width? A. 12 feet, B. 4 feet, C. 8 feet, or D. 2 feet. Don't forget to draw and solve your problems. Just for fun. Directions. Find the missing rectangle dimensions for each activity in the table. The activity is basketball dunk. The dimensions are 14 foot by 10 foot by 10 foot, plus something else. What is the perimeter? Ring toss. 4 foot plus 4 foot plus 2 unknown is 16 foot. The Wii dance. 2 foot by 10 foot plus 10 foot plus unknown is what? The bag toss, 9 foot plus 3 foot plus 2 unknowns is how much for the perimeter. And keep in mind this is for rectangles. Video games, 6 foot plus an unknown plus 6 foot plus an unknown is 20 feet. Board games, 5 foot plus an unknown and an unknown plus 7 foot. Water balloon toss, 3 foot plus 3 foot plus unknown is 24 foot. And whatever activity you want, 8 foot plus unknown plus 9 foot plus an unknown equals unknown perimeter. Choose the activities for your carnival and use their dimensions to draw the space you'll need for each activity. Each box in the grid measures 1 foot. Leave at least 2 feet in between each activity. Science. Target. I can construct an argument that plants and animals have internal and external structures that function to support survival, growth, behavior, and reproduction. Directions. Review the notes. Take the exit slip. Muscle, bones, and tendon notes. Have you ever seen a robot in real life? Think about it. Not like a Roomba or robotic arm, but a robot that looks and acts like a human. Giving robots the ability to move like humans is very hard. Humans' bodies are the ultimate robot. We're awesome. We can balance, walk, run, throw, swim, and even do amazing flips. It makes me wonder if our body is so complicated that it's hard to recreate. How does it work? Check out the picture to the right. It's a hand, but not a human hand. It is made from pieces of wood connected with strings and little motors. When you pull the strings on the right side of the arm, the fingers move. How cool! Could this be what's happening inside of us? We may not have strings and motors in our hands, but we definitely have little rods called bones. When you look at the x-ray to the left, you can see the bones. They are like the frame that gives our bodies its shape, but they can't move on their own. They have help from strings and motors called tendons and muscles. These structures work together to help our bodies move. First, the muscle expands and contracts to move. Then the muscle pulls on the tendon, which is like a string that is attached to a bone. After that, the tendon pulls on the bone. In other words, muscles pull tendons, which pull bones. That is how we move our joints. Try moving your elbow while putting your hand on your upper arm. You can feel the muscle moving, which makes the bone move. Aren't our bodies amazing? Bones, muscles, and tendons are just a few of the awesome structures inside of us that make humans the ultimate movement machines, before and after. Exit slip. Question 1. Which structure has the function of connecting muscles to bones? A. Fingers, B. Tendons, C. Organs, or D. Skeletons? Number 2. Which structure has the function of starting movement like a motor? A. Bones, B. Tendons, C. Muscles, or D. Organs? Number 3. Which structure has the function of being our body's frame that holds our shape? A. Bones, B. Tendons, C. Muscles, and D. Organs? Art assignment. Learning goal. I can create an artwork that has negative space. What is negative space? Negative space is the area around, between, and within the shapes, colors, and lines that compose the work. Look at the black and white graphic to the right. The people are the positive space, and the white areas are the negative space. Use the QR codes to watch 2 short videos about negative and positive space. Practice. In the drawing to the right, the palm trees make up the positive space. The negative space is all of the space around and within the trees. Directions. Trace over or outline all of the positive space with a pencil or pen. Color all of the negative space yellow. Time to create. Directions. Choose one of the trees to the left. Draw the tree with a pencil in the box below. Your tree does not have to be exactly like the example, but it should take up most of the space. Number 2, color the positive space of the tree one solid color of your choice. Color the negative space a different color of your choice. You can use crayons, colored pencils, or markers, or a mixture of all three in your artwork. Spanish. Number 1, spend 10 minutes reviewing vocabulary. A, make flashcards or scan the QR code to practice on Quizlet. Number 2, complete the word search on the next page. The answers are in Spanish. You have earrings, scarf, jacket, necklace, gloves, bracelet, and sweater. Use each clue to find the words in Spanish. And this is the end of NTI Day, April 28th.